What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of GeekCypha here on Free X Agents Media, also available on twitch.tv/GeekCypha, and as always on GeekCypha.com. If you guys are looking for a fun place to check out all our content, it's all available there. We always want to thank you guys for tuning into our show. We have a lot of fun doing it. It's kind of a crazy adventure every week. But I genuinely think it's one of my favorite things to do. Because anytime you don't host the podcast, at least for me, I always get like, man, there's so many things I want to cover this week. And then next thing you know, it's like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and you're just like, damn, there was so much stuff to cover that we didn't get to.
Right.
Because that's the thing. Whenever we skip a week, we want to get back to it. But by the time we get back to the show, like those things have passed, so we don't end up getting to discuss them. But this week we got quite a bit of news, so we'll start it off. I know, Joss, I'll let you take the start.
Yeah. So some sad news. There's been a few passings. The one I'm going to talk about is Drew Struzan, and you might be like, "Who's that?" So he, if you think of any 80s, maybe late 70s, early 80s, 90s poster where it looks drawn and it's just to the likeness of the actual actors in the movie, this guy drew that poster specifically for Steven Spielberg, for Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, also Hook, like Big Trouble in Little China, if you remember that poster, that iconic poster, Star Wars, also including the Harry Potter posters. This guy, you've most likely seen his art, his posters promoting any of your favorite movie, any of your big blockbuster family-friendly movies. Passed away at the age of 78, years-long battle with Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
But his art was definitely felt by everyone, seen by everyone. A few other ones here: Empire Strikes Back, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Blade Runner, The Thing, just tons and tons of hits and posters and everything like that. I think there is a documentary. Let me just see here, this article I'm skimming through. Drew, the man behind the poster, that was in 2013, talking about him and all the other posters that he's done. And a lot of people in the comic book world, I think let me see here, Jim Lee, also the chief creative officer and publisher of DC Comics, also wrote on his Instagram, his work captured the humanity, power, and emotion of his subjects in ways not seen since. Thank you for bringing to life all the tentpole moments of my childhood and beyond. Just one of the legends gone, basically,
That's super sad. As a huge fan of Back to the Future, I know for me that one feels kind of crazy because I've seen that poster like a billion times. The box cover of the movie, anywhere and everywhere that you've seen Back to the Future, all three Back to the Futures, by the way, 1, 2, and 3. If I'm not mistaken, he did the cover. If he didn't do the cover, they modeled it on his design, the very least. So and because he did that cover, the amount of kind of remakes of that Back to the Future cover, or any of the covers that he's done, any of the Star Wars stuff, there's been so many remakes of that aesthetic that he kind of lives on through all these branches of people copying his style, which is kind of crazy. But it's very sad.
I think he also did episode 1, that poster as well.
Right.
So
Phantom Menace one.
Yeah, the Phantom Menace one.
Right.
So Spielberg, George Lucas, definitely one of their main dudes, it seems like.
Right. We got other sad news that D'Angelo has passed. This one was a kind of a crazy. I didn't even know how to feel when I found out. It was I was already going through a lot of stuff that week, or this week, I should say, and to find out that D'Angelo passed, I was just like, oh, another thing that's just really sad.
Yeah.
But I mean, D'Angelo is considered the godfather of neo soul, which is pretty important. I think there's I think what a lot of kids call like alt R&B, and like all like Frank Ocean and all those kids are all the like grandchildren, like
Right.
this energy. Like a lot of them will quote Lauryn Hill as their influences and stuff like that. But like even Lauryn Hill turned to, and Erica Badu and them worked with D'Angelo. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Was it Matters? Matters was the song on Lauryn Hill's album where it's her and D'Angelo.
right.
Nothing even matters. That
It's
part.
yeah. He, very successful artist. Brown Sugar, Voodoo, Black Messiah, all fantastic albums.
Only
It,
3.
yeah, I think
Only 3,
like
but they're all bangers. All of them
yeah.
are just amazing. The amount of times I'm on my Facebook my feed and it keeps giving me is it brown sugar? It's brown sugar chopped and screwed? No, brown sugar slowed down and reverbed.
Oh, probably, yeah. And the thing, like one of the things is great. Brown Sugar is RIAA certified platinum. Platinum being one of the highest ones. So, I mean, it was released in '95, reissued.
Spanish Joint. Sorry, Spanish Joint.
Oh,
Slow
okay.
down and reverb. Excuse me. That's another good song.
Reissued in 2017. Voodoo came out in 2000, and then we had Black Messiah credited to D'Angelo and the Vanguard. Yeah, I remember when that one came out not too long ago. Just over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that one dropped in 2014. He's also had compilations and stuff, so because when you're that talented, and like you said, he's worked with a lot of people on stuff. So yeah, I can't even.
Sadiq is another person he's worked with. Erica
Badu.
I know Tyler the Creator said, like, we lost an alien, we lost a savant, someone that just was always doing something, always super creative and everything like that. I think they mentioned that he passed due to pancreatic cancer.
Yeah. I was going to mention just a few people he's worked with, but you guys probably already know the list is quite extensive. Erica Badu, Method Man and Redman, Jay-Z, Jay Samuels. He's been on a track with Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang. He's worked with Raphael Sadiq on the track Be Here. He's been on a track with Snoop Dogg, and a track with Common, and recently did a track I cannot pronounce the name of this song. Ibiza off of Rhapsody's album, IBTIHAJ, which I'm guessing is like a Arabic name that I unfortunately cannot do justice, sadly. But and then, like you mentioned, Nothing Even Matters, Lauryn Hill featuring D'Angelo, which dropped on The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
I'm sure he's worked with the Roots, or I know one of his big collaborators was Questlove.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a long list of people who, again, I feel have influenced and neo soul and alt R&B, even just R&B in general. People like to call alt R&B and neo soul and stuff like that. We've talked about it on this podcast. The Soulquarians, like
there it is. That's
that collective. That collective of people out of Philly and who all worked together and kind of created this aesthetic and this sound that became neo soul and influenced alt R&B and all these kids. And you had like Mac Miller who grew up on this stuff, and you had like Earl Sweatshirt, Wale, like the list of modern contemporary rappers or like last gen rappers, 2010 rappers, 2000. All of them have some sort of. They probably all have some sort of feature with a neo soul kind of alt R&B vibe to it. So
they're all at Quest. I think it was like at Questlove's crib. They all kind of have a jam session, and it just got out of hand and everything.
So we want to send our flowers to D'Angelo. Very sad loss for the music industry as a whole, not just for R&B, but as a whole. I'm not even sure. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, as soon as you said that he did a song with Method Man and Redman, I was thinking I remembered the song. I remember listening it to K103 up, and left, right, and down. How we doing?
That's hilarious.
Get the money and the weed.
I'm probably going to continue with music a little bit, only because we were talking about D'Angelo, and I know some people might feel like this is a weird transition, but sometimes, guys, it's hard when you talk about a passing and then you have to go into the next one. But Continuing with music, continuing with artists that would probably, and I dare say this, influenced by D'Angelo and the aesthetic of neo soul. K-pop Demon Hunter, which we know K-pop is strongly influenced by 90s hip hop R&B. So it's not a
Very much so.
far-fetched idea to say K-pop Demon Hunter in of itself is influenced by someone like D'Angelo. The links are there. K-pop Demon Hunter is going to be back in theaters again. So Ted Sarandos, who has famously said he does not believe in theaters and does not support the idea that Netflix needs theaters, is once again going back to theaters with K-pop Demon Hunter. They're going to be doing this over the Halloween weekend. So the Halloween weekend, I guess this year, Halloween is on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
It's on a Friday this year.
Money. Friday,
yeah,
Saturday,
it's going to be
Sunday money.
Crazy weekend. But October 31st, November 1st, Saturday, November 1st, and Sunday, November 2nd. Maybe even November 3rd. Probably that will be the end of the weekend. But they're going to have K-pop Demon Hunter in theaters once again, right in time for Halloween, right in time for people to wear costumes and go see the movie and take their kids in costumes. Is probably, I feel like this is a smart idea because of the fact that a lot of kids are going to want to dress up as K-pop Demon Hunter this year. So it makes sense to do this. Again, I'm annoyed that
do you know if they're going to do a sing-along or just going to be
Yes, it is the sing. No, sorry. God. Thank you, Jaws. Thank you. No, valid point. I forgot to mention that. You know what? I'll even start from the top with this. K-pop Demon Hunters is going to be back in theaters for Halloween weekend with the sing-along edition. Also, another added bonus that I didn't mention the first time, and I should have said, they are going to be available in AMC theaters in the States. AMC, who has been pushing hard against Netflix because Netflix doesn't believe in theatrical windows, right? So the 45-day, 60-day theater release. AMC sticks to that. They say them and all their partners like to stick to that. They believe it's a very important aspect of what makes a movie do well in theaters instead of removing the movie too soon and getting people accustomed to watching these movies on their streaming apps. AMC believes in theatrical releases. Obviously, Netflix does not believe in that. That is not their What is it?
Modus operandi.
Thank you, good sir. Modus operandi. Perfectly said.
If I hopefully I said it right.
I believe you have. I always say opus because I think of Mr. Holland's opus. So I know I always say it wrong, but modus operandi. Yes. Yeah. So Netflix's modus operandi is that they do not believe in theatrical releases. Theaters to them are just an extension of the promotion for their streaming app. And AMC doesn't usually work with them because of this. But I guess because the movie did so well when it came out in August of this year and it did the theater run, AMC felt they had to get in bed with them, which I'm a little disappointed in. But we'll see. With 400 AMC theaters, that is a lot more money that can come in. AMC lost out last time because they were not a part of this. So, this is an opportunity for them to reap the benefits. At least, if anything, the concession stand, I guess, is where they're planning to make their money because that's where theaters tend to make their bucks because they still have to split the box office with the production company usually. So the concession stand and like the big popcorn buckets now, the like custom popcorn buckets and all that stuff. Yeah. These are all the things that are making theaters money. So if you don't get in bed with Netflix, who is a marketing machine, and you don't jump on the bandwagon, you miss out. And they did miss out last time, unfortunately. So this is where they're at.
And for sure, you definitely, you're a business, you're there to make money. And so, you could say like, oh, we're not going to do that with those people. And then those people are making money and bringing in new people coming in. So you gotta take advantage of that. Sadly. I mean, not sadly, but it's the nature of the thing. You're there to make money, you're to bring people into your thing.
I do think it's a sad thing to have to bend your beliefs because of profits, but this is a capitalist system. So if you can have your moral compass,
you're struggling to
right, exactly. That's, I think, if anything, one of the most important points. Theaters are struggling, and making this decision is good for the theaters. It also gets people into the theater and gets them accustomed to the idea of being in a theater because that repetitive act does help people remember that a theater experience is better than a streaming experience,
Yeah.
at least in my opinion. Because I know it, because I saw Tron Ares and I have things to say. And trust me, the only reason I saw that in theaters is because I like a theater experience. Because otherwise, that movie doo-doo. So we're going to talk about that in a bit. But continuing with Netflix, this is another one of somebody getting in bed with Netflix that I guess it makes sense. They've done it before, but Spotify and Netflix are forging a video podcast deal.
Okay.
Which feels crazy. And so Netflix is going to get, and I'm just going to pull up the list. So Netflix is going to start airing podcasts that Spotify has. So Spotify has a lot of video podcasts that you can watch on the Spotify app. Most of those are related to like the Ringer and other podcast companies that they are affiliated with or own. And they've now signed a deal with Netflix to bring those podcasts over to Netflix. I don't know if these podcasts are going to still be on YouTube, and that's my biggest question. I've been trying to find that information out so that I could have it for by the time we got to air. Unfortunately, I could not find it anywhere. But the list is extensive. In the sports category, the Bill Simmons podcast, the Zach Lowe show, the McKay show, the Fairway Rolling, the Mismatch, the Ringer F1 show, the Ringer Fantasy Football show, the Ringer NFL show, and the Ringer NBA show are all going to be on Netflix. When it comes to culture and kind of media podcasts, the Rewatchables, which is a very popular podcast if you like films. They do really in-depth analyzing of films. The Big Picture, which does a lot of good like television breakdowns. The Dave Chang Show, Recipe Club, and Dissect. And then for true crime, they're going to have conspiracy theories and serial killers. Are going to be available on Netflix. This is a pretty big move for Netflix. I didn't think this was going to be a thing they were going to do, because I still think if I'm Spotify, I would rather get people watching it on Spotify with advertising or on YouTube, which a lot of these shows are on YouTube with the advertising, because there's no barrier. With Netflix, you're going through a partner.
Yeah.
With YouTube, you just upload your stuff, you manage your page yourself, you control your network. For Free X Agents Media, which is us, FXA Media, ours is run on our YouTube channel. We can produce our content. It's our content. We own our content. And we do have to abide by the rules of YouTube, but other than that, it's ours. And when we record this podcast and stream it live, we own the video content. We can put it up in other places. We've tried putting it up in Spotify. We didn't really like the experience of uploading to Spotify. We could put it on Facebook if we wanted. We could put it in different places. We get to control that. And I find it interesting to want to do that with Netflix.
Right.
But I mean, we've talked about the fact that Netflix is all about the keeping you online as much as possible.
Exactly. Keeping you in there. You still you still watching?
Yeah. Them in every time they get a chance.
I don't think I've ever watched Netflix that long where that came up.
I mean, I have, but that's usually when I'm watching a series. Back when I used to watch series on Netflix and I was binging, if you let 3 episodes go in a row. And I always wonder, it's a good point that you say that. I sometimes wonder if that's a factor of how late in your market you were watching. Like if it's 7 o'clock and you watch 3 episodes, does it ask you, are you still watching? Because it might be like, oh, it's late in the evening in this area.
This time zone, yeah.
This time zone, thank you. Maybe this person falls asleep and Netflix is just running. Because I only ever noticed it in the evening. I never had it ask me, are you still watching in the day?
Right.
Yeah. This is
Please stay on.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything. You don't need to clean your house. You don't need to mow your lawn.
Also, isn't the fact that I've
heard your baby crying. Keep watching.
But I've also heard people talk about the fact that Netflix shows, like people who've pitched shows to Netflix, have been told by executives and like people who make decisions at Netflix, your show is too heady. People have to be able to listen to it in the background and not pay attention. And I've heard people say this, multiple people, not just one person. Multiple people have, So I don't know.
They know how people are consuming, because probably they're like, oh, let's look at the analytics. oh, someone stopped the video here and went back a few minutes.
Right.
Someone stopped the video here, went back a few minutes, like they were doing something. And I know a few people that watch things passively, and
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah.
it. And so sometimes when they talk to me about movies and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, were they watching it, or were they just watching it while they were doing something else and kind of getting it on the side, kind of thing?
I mean, I'm horribly guilty of that. We've talked about it before. I'll listen to like an audiobook while playing a video game.
Oh, that's fine. Audiobooks
Yeah, I
and
guess so.
podcasts, I find it's passive, and if you're doing something that takes forever in a video game, that helps
Yeah.
to get through that really quickly.
Okay.
The
How about this though? I sometimes play StarCraft
Mhm.
and have TV shows playing on the other screen. Still okay?
Depends on the TV show. Do you? Because I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
watching,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be
That's fair.
playing StarCraft and The Godfather's playing on the side, one of the best
Fair.
movies in the world, and you have to pay attention and look at what's going on and
Yeah.
focus on what's going on, and then you look over and like, why did that guy get killed?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
fair.
why did the Godfather die? I missed
Yeah.
that. What happened there?
Uh,
why is he beating up that dude? Why is he biting his hand? Jeez.
Yeah. Why they throw this guy into a trash can in the streets? Yeah. I would say I watched Haunted Hotel recently, this new Netflix show, while playing StarCraft. Haunted Hotel, Will Forte, decent show.
Oh, okay.
I'll talk about that a little bit later too, but that one is the one I watched. Take into consideration that's what I did. I was playing StarCraft while watching it. So if you're listening to this now and you then hear my review, maybe the review will make a little more sense if you realize I wasn't paying full attention.
So you were playing StarCraft, which is, very focus heavy game.
Yeah.
And you're watching a comedy because it's Will Forte.
Yeah.
Man.
Animated comedy.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I liked it, but anyways, I'll get back to it. That's fair. That's fair though. Good point. But yeah, another piece of news that I feel ties in with this that I forgot to add to the list. Spotify launches its first podcast fast channel. Shows from Bill Simmons, The Ringer, now streaming on Samsung TV Plus. So not only did they make a deal with Netflix, Spotify now has streaming fast TV, free ad-supported television that's going to be available on Samsung TVs, which feels crazy to me that Spotify is putting themselves out there like this. I didn't think that was the model that they were going for. I kind of thought they wanted to keep things in-house, but it seems like they're making a lot of partnerships, which is interesting to me. The Ringer 24-hour streaming channel on Samsung TV Plus, available in the US only, just a heads up, but will probably come into other markets because this is what they usually do. Will feature a rotating lineup of shows, including Simmons' Book of Basketball 2.0, The Rewatchables, which we just mentioned, The Big Picture, which we just mentioned, Higher Learning, hosted by Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay, and Splendy's 16th Minute, hosted by reality TV star Heidi and Spencer Plath. So those are all going to be on the Fast TV channel in the US. And in conjunction with the Netflix news, it feels like Spotify is making some pretty big moves in that market. Jaws, did you get a chance to read all the news headlines that I wrote? Because this one I feel is going to shock you a little if you haven't read it. Wait, no, don't read it if you haven't read it. I wanted to.
I read something beforehand about Jim Carrey, and I was like, okay.
This sounds crazy. This one feels crazy to me. I am both excited and shocked because I kind of understood he just wanted to retire after the Sonic the Hedgehog movies.
I know that's what he said, but I feel like if something speaks to him, and he's very much a guy about cartoons, he's a cartoon dude. So I could see like, they're doing a cart. Oh, yo, I want in on that. I want in on that. So I could see why that would happen.
So we won't keep you guys waiting or guessing any longer. Jim Carrey is in talks to lead a live action Jetsons movie.
As Astro the dog. No, I'm joking.
He's going to be playing George Jetson,
Jetson.
the patriarch of the Jetson family. I mean, we haven't had a Hanna-Barbera live action since the Flintstones, if I'm not mistaken.
No, there was a Yogi Bear.
Oh, true. Yes, you're right.
Bear. I think that might be the most recent one I
Yes.
want to say live action. I could be wrong. Let's do some internet sleuthing here.
No, yeah, I was checking while you were talking. Yes, in 2010 we had a Yogi Bear live action, live action film
Yeah,
with Dan Aykroyd and Justin Timberlake,
yeah,
Anna
as Boo Boo.
Faris. Dan Aykroyd as Yogi, Justin Timberlake as Boo Boo, as you mentioned, Anna Faris and Tom Cavanaugh.
Yeah.
Jesus, what a weird cast. Okay.
And then I think before that was probably the Scooby Doo movies, and then
Right,
the
right.
Flintstones was the 90s.
Sorry,
Oh
well,
no, Tom and Jerry's not Hanna-Barbera. Tom and
I
Jerry's
don't
not
think so.
Hanna-Barbera.
No. Sorry. You know what? I guess I should say, and it's funny you make that distinction, but it is a
Yeah,
valid point.
Tom and
When I
Jerry,
was thinking, Tom and Jerry's Hanna-Barbera?
created by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera.
Oh, wow.
I
I
did
didn't
not
know
know
that.
that.
Okay, so I guess I should, in my head, the reason I said it the way I said it is because I was thinking of humanoid Hanna-Barbera shows, which I guess is not right because they had
Oh,
so many animal. Because the
yeah.
Flintstones were humans and
Mhm.
the Jetsons were
This is
humans.
were the future Flintstones,
Right.
basically.
And I was trying to, when I'm thinking of Hanna-Barbera live action with because the other ones, it's kind of, I guess you have to do a CGI bear, right?
Yes,
Or a
yes, that's
CGI
what it is.
cat.
Yeah, Cat and
Right.
Mouse, and then everyone else is real. Josie
Right.
and the Pussycats is another one. Holy shit!
Wait, Josie and the Pussycats, isn't that Archie?
Oh, let me double check
I thought
because
that was
that whole
Archie's.
era was just crazy.
Right.
Let's see here. TV series.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Opening. Yeah, Archie Comics. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
but produced for Saturday morning television by Hanna-Barbera Productions.
Oh, that's why. Okay,
So
well, that's crazy.
both.
So Hanna-Barbera seems to have their finger on the pulse of all things animated from a certain era. But all this to say, Jim Carrey is considering
Yes. Sorry.
the lead role in the live-action Jetsons movie. The Jetsons, which famously was kind of this 60s idea of what the future is going to be. Jaws, could I ask you to look up what year the Jetsons are set in?
Ooh.
Well, yeah. So the Jetsons, as you can imagine,
no, 2 years, no, 10 or 20 years ago, probably.
You think that the Jetsons was set in like 2005? That's
Yes.
crazy. So the Jetsons, if you guys don't know this, if you're like super, super young and you might never have heard of the Jetsons, it was a 60s show that was kind of a futurist idea of what the world was going to look like in the 2000s, I'm guessing.
Okay, I'm trying to find it here.
And the show had flying cars, robot maids, robot dogs. You could jettison your kids out of the car with little tubes that took them to where they needed to go.
It was like vacuum tubes. Vacuum tubes was a big thing, and you would use people to vacuum tube people to and from the places.
Insane concept. Because I almost had my hand stuck in a vacuum tube once, and not something I would recommend for a whole body. Anyways, but the show, as a futurist look of that era, was kind of crazy because at the time in the 60s, Star Trek, which is another one.
Oh, I was wrong.
What year is it?
Hold on. The Google AI is saying 2062.
Oh, interesting.
Which is 100 years in the future of when the show premiered, which is 1962.
Oh, that would make sense, though.
So I don't know if that's accurate or not.
If you're doing a search and you want to remove the AI, just type in -AI, like minus AI, and it'll remove the AI section. And then you
just
should
boom. Wow. But
that's so crazy.
The Flintstones were in the distant mythical Stone Age, thousands of years in the past. The Jetsons were sent in the very near future in 2062. And this is from Swinburne University.
Wow.
Swinburne University.eu. AU from Australia, I guess.
Oh, cool. Okay. So university doing their research. Hey, if they're helping us, we're here for it.
I'm clicking on the website so they get their money. Just making sure.
Shout outs to that website. Hopefully they do good things. But yeah, 2062 makes sense if it's 100 years after. And I would say that is very, very interesting. So, I mean, we still are a bit off 2025. We have 37 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, 37 years before flying cars and kids with white hair that
I
pops
mean,
up in a
there's already people already dyeing their hair white. That was a thing
true.
not too long ago.
And they have been doing flying cars. But
Yeah,
they are actively trying to create flying cars.
I am hoping that Eep Up Orc comes back as a
Oh,
song.
is that the one with the
Eep Up
oh
Orc that means I love you.
oh yeah. And one of the other crazy things about the Jetsons is we do have robot maids. We not maids, but we do have robots that clean our floors.
Oh,
And
we
you
do
can
have
now
robots that bring food to you. So if you go to like
robots that bring food to you, robots that clean your floors. And I don't know if you guys have seen the latest version of those floor robots, the Roombas and all the other brands, but there's one that they designed that has an arm that can pick up obstructions from in front of it. And if you program it to know where the trash can is, from what I saw in the video, it can also throw things out into the trash can because it will go back to that point and toss, like release it into the trash receptacle. So I just find that kind of crazy to think we're getting because we're getting there. If what was the robot's name? Not Lucy. What was her name?
Rosie.
Rosie. Thank you.
I thought you said her name.
I don't think I did. I said Roomba, but I don't think I said Rosie. But if we get to Rosie territory where we're going to have a robot that can pick up, if we have robots picking up stuff off the floor now and putting them into trash receptacles, yeah, I don't think we're far off from a Rosie robot. I know Elon lied to us a couple years ago and told us he was going to have robots for all of us.
He always lies about everything he's doing.
Yeah.
Don't mind him. He says promise now and then figure it out later, and then just doesn't happen. They did make an animated movie of the Jetsons in the 90s.
I do remember that. Yeah, I remember that too. Speaking of animated content, Duolingo, of all people, is launching its own anime series.
Yes.
I see you added the note. I didn't realize that. First episode is already out on YouTube.
It's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. So I guess it's like bits. It's coming out in bits. I don't know if it's a whole anime series or just like a small little tiny thing.
I was actually reading an article about this yesterday. This thing's called micro series, where they do series sponsored by certain products, specifically designed to run as commercials, but in hopes that the series draws people into the commercial because there's a continuation. And if they make multiples, you might want to watch those. And at the same time, they're advertising to you. I feel like Duolingo is kind of doing that with an anime.
Yeah. So basically like anime in general and OVAs in general, where they make the series so you can come back and watch and read the manga.
Right. Okay.
Because the manga would come out first, and it's like, oh, we're doing well. Well, what if we do a show or an original video animation, an OVA, and just do a little bits and pieces of the whole manga that's out now, and that'll be like an advertisement for you to come back to the mangas, kind of thing. Because back in the day,
what an OVA for.
Because back in the day, mangas didn't come individually all the time. It was only after the fact. They would all come out in these giant tome magazines,
right,
Shonen Jump, this Jump, and then that would get you to come back, and then you'd buy all the other ones that are in that tome, basically.
Cool. Okay. Well, I mean, I know some people are excited. Duolingo has a very good marketing department. You know, we had the death of Duo, and they had Dua Lipa mourning the death. Like maybe a couple, was that in the last year or so they did that?
Yeah, it was this year. That was this year that happened.
So I know.
Oh, I was gonna say the show looks interesting. It's basically I guess
watched it. I didn't get a chance yet.
Well, in the teaser, in the trailer, basically it seems like a group of people, and some of them look like the little characters in Duolingo that help you along with your thing. They get isekai'd, which is like they got transported to another place.
I just learned that term recently, so I'm happy to understand what you're saying.
And so basically, they get teleported to this dungeon, and the Duolingo owl is talking in its weird language,
aka Duo,
and so they're like the dungeon master, the game master, and they have to get onto streaks so they could proceed in the rest of the dungeon to escape. But if they fail, I'm assuming they die. And as they're on their streak, they have a little fire above their head, a little flame above their head. So they have to keep that hot streak going and keep the flame going. That's the impression I'm getting from it.
The show really is just to convince people to continue their streaks. That's so wild. Okay. All right. That's super interesting. This last section we have is pretty much just all headline because it's all just all the shows that were announced at New York Comic Con from Marvel. So if you guys have been waiting, if you guys are super fans of the Marvel Disney Plus stuff, or if you haven't had a chance to check the list, this is the list we're about to give you. This is the latest list. I checked this list and reconfirmed it right up until the moment before we started the podcast. So because nothing else was announced, I know the information for the Daredevil date was only announced like half an hour ago from what I saw. So first of all, I want to say shout outs to Lee J and Mark P for joining in. Shout outs to Mike for tuning in. Shout outs to my boy Connor. He was my neighbor. He recently moved away. He told me he listens to the show all the time. Aww. One of the things we talked about when he was moving away, he's just like, because I showed him my place because he showed me his place because we have units in similar buildings, but they're designed differently. The layout's different. So when I showed him this place and I showed him the office, he's just like, wow, it's so different when you see it in person. It's even crazier. So because if you guys are watching this, there's quite a bit behind me, but there's also a bunch of stuff in front and to the side that you don't see. So he was very excited to see it. And shout outs to Connor, shout outs to Mark, shout outs to Lee J. Mark, we'll have to have you on the show to talk about Fan Expo, if not this, well, I guess not this year because it passed quite a bit ago, but next year, because I know you tend to go every year. So shout outs to Mark P. But continuing, New York Comic Con, I have always wanted to go. I was supposed to go 2 years ago and I got COVID right before I was supposed to go, which was very, 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 very sad. But I made a profit off of selling my tickets because people really like going to New York Comic Con. So that was a silver lining to that situation. But headlines: Wonder Man will debut on Disney Plus on January 27, 2026. Jaws, we watched that trailer.
I'm interested.
I am interested. I guess I know I sounded negative in the group chat when I posted the link to the trailer. For me, it was more a factor that because the MCU has not had the strongest run recently, and Wonder Man is, you know, kind of like West Coast Avenger, a slightly lower tier character, not necessarily the most popular. Yaya is going to be playing him, and who also played Black Manta and also played Dr. Manhattan. So he's been in the, you know, he's been in the like the pit of it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh man, this is gonna kind of be crazy to see him in the show. And then the trailer kind of seems like a meta conversation about the character of Wonder Man, Simon, who is an actor in the comic book, but this is a meta conversation of an actor playing Wonder Man in a movie. And I guess this, sorry, it looks like you were about to say something.
No, continue your thought and I'll jump in after.
I was going to say, like, the director seems like kind of a recluse director who's coming out of retirement to give us this new version of Wonder Man. And I kind of wish Skinny was here because Skinny had a theory. I don't know if that's what you were going to mention.
No, I don't think so.
Skinny had a theory that what it is for the casting of the movie is the power is of Wonder Man is passed on to the new actor. Kind of like All Might from My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay. That's
and crazy. I was like, that sounds interesting to me as a theory. And it definitely would make this show seem more interesting to me because the trailer has me somewhat interested, but not super interested. So sorry.
I was going to say I'm interested because, you know, they're playing up more the movie, the more all the other characters. A returning character that just keeps returning is the guy that was the Mandarin. I forgot the actor guy's name. Ben Kingsley.
Sir Ben Kingsley. Yeah.
So he's there, and he's just, you know, he's out of jail. He's out of jail. Last time I think we saw him, he was in jail, and Terry Tate was his bodyguard in jail, and then the real Mandarin gets to him and is like, "Hey, dude, like stop pretending you're the Mandarin, not the Mandarin. Stop it." And then we don't see him again. And now he's back. He's okay. He's out of jail. People still know. So people still kind of remember that he was a terrorist.
The last place we saw him was in the Shang-Chi movie, right?
I think so. I didn't see the Shang-Chi movie, but I remember beforehand they pulled him out of jail. Like, hey, stop
and and in Shang-Chi you find out that the dad, Shang-Chi's dad, who's been running the 10 Rings,
right, had
him like living in a room that's just on the compound, and that's where he had been.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it was really weird. I guess they freed him, but they
Uh-huh.
also then kind of just imprisoned him themselves. So
Mm. But I kind of like because who like in the MCU universe, I guess superheroes have been around, but I don't know if everybody knew about them. So what are the people in that universe? What are they looking at? What are they? Oh, this is my super. Like, what is their superhero?
right.
What are they doing in that
Right.
world?
Yeah, Wonder
You know?
Man is a hero in a world where heroes actually exist,
Yes.
but on film and in comics and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
So
point.
that I kind of dig and I kind of like,
Okay,
and
that's fair.
it's a little everything is like, oh, it's always the end of the world, and oh my god, like again, it's just pare it down,
Yeah.
calm
Actually,
it down a bit.
you've
You're
made
not
such an interesting point to me. What does a superhero movie look like in a world that has real superheroes? Like,
because
why would I go to a movie to watch it or watch a TV show when Spider-Man is a real thing that exists in my universe? That's so
but
interesting that you
but
said it.
if you live in that universe and you see Spider-Man, you see Iron Man, like
Right.
them in their costume doing their thing. That's not a good sign.
True.
Stuff is going down. You should be getting
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hell
yeah.
out of there.
Yeah.
That's not like, oh yay, cool, it's there, and they're gonna do my
Seeing
birthday
Spider-Man
party.
up
No.
close is usually a sign that, oh no, there is danger here. I
Yeah.
need to run. Yeah, that's a good point.
And also on top of that, like I would assume, I guess according to their lore and their universe, when Iron Man comes out, he is the first like, hey everybody, I'm a superhero.
Yeah,
Otherwise, everybody else is agents of shield. They're doing
behind the
spy
scenes.
missions. They're doing spy
Yeah,
missions. They're not
yeah,
in
yeah.
the spotlight. I mean, save for Fantastic Four, I guess.
Yeah, which
That
is
just
in an
came out.
alternate universe as of this moment. And you're right, like Thor's not a thing. Captain America was a hero, but I don't think people necessarily knew Captain
His
America had.
sacrifice.
Yeah,
The
and they
thing that
also
he,
don't.
yeah.
I don't think they knew he had the super soldier serum. They just know him as a hero who
Mhm.
represented them during World War II.
And he
They
was
might not have.
selling war bonds.
Right, right, right. Yes, that's a very, very fair point.
He was
Uh,
just
I
selling war
just wanted
bonds.
to post Mark's comment. Wonder Man might bomb bad. I mean, I again, it's hard. I also worry about that. I
Mm.
also worry about it bombing, but I do take Jaws's point that it could be interesting to see what it looks like in a world where, if and I think Jaws is making a very interesting point that I've genuinely never thought about. Like when you watch Invincible, for example, on Prime, and Invincible reads comic books, and he's a super big comic book nerd. He's reading comic books knowing that his father was a superhero.
Mm.
So what's it like for him to read a comic book about mysticism and like kind of like a Doctor Strange-esque character in a world where there are people who actually have these powers? There are people with magic, there are people who fly. Like, what does a comic book give you, or what do these stories give you when these things actually exist? And that's pretty interesting to me. So in a world where Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, and all these people have existed, and Wonder Man is a character that people watched, playing this character on the big screen might seem super important because for Yaya's character, it's like, oh, I finally get to be a hero.
Mm.
And then if we include Skinny's thought that, oh, it's the power being passed on, that to me is super interesting. So
What was the play that Hawkeye went to go see in his show?
yeah, yes.
I was trying to think of other thing. I was like, oh right,
Yeah,
there's that.
yeah.
There's that as
No,
well.
that's true. And in the play, one of the things that Hawkeye's always commenting is like, oh, they edited the story and they added characters who weren't there. Because the play is about the first fight, the Avengers fight against Loki, and
In New
Ant-Man is
York.
in the play. Yeah, in New York. And
Mhm.
Ant-Man's in the play. But Ant-Man isn't there in the story, in the original.
He's there in the original comic book.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing. He's not there in the original thing. So it's kind of like, oh, like when Hawkeye goes, that guy wasn't there. It's just like, oh, that's such a crazy thing that someone has rewritten history, and now the consumed version of the thing he went through as a hero
Yeah.
has other characters that aren't related. That's crazy to think of. Anyways, we have a lot more shows on the list. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is expected March 4th, 2026. So people can get real crazy and get real Catholic, excited for more Catholicism. Frank Miller really added that religion into the lore, and boy, has it stuck.
Hey, man.
So
That's
we'll
the whole
see.
point.
Yeah.
You're in Hell's Kitchen. Repent.
Yeah, exactly.
Your name Daredevil. Repent. 40 lashes.
Oh, no. X-Men 97 Season 2 is expected summer 2026. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 is expected in the fall 2026. VisionQuest is to debut in 2026. People are saying likely in Q4. That's the last quarter of the year. So likely October, November, December of 2026. And the Punisher special presentation is lastly expected in 2026. I expect that it will drop sometime around Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is coming out July 31st, 2026. It would make sense to me from a marketing perspective that if you have the movie that Punisher is supposed to appear in, you'd have the special presentation come out soon after, or if anything, right before to show you where he's been, and then you see him in the movie, and it kind of makes sense. Kind of like when they used to do the single issue comic book before the Batman movies and stuff like that when we were younger. You kind of just get a comic book that's just like, hey, here's the stuff you didn't know was happening before the movie started. So yeah. Guys, that was a lot of news. My God. We went through a lot. Yeah, that was a lot of news. Last week we were supposed to get to this first. I want to get to it before I cover anything. Jaws, you said you wanted to talk about Derry Girls full series. I definitely, and for anyone who's listening to this, I have watched this show and I equally think it's worth talking about. So if you guys have not watched it, if you're looking for like a fun, wholesome show that discusses the 90s from an outside North American culture perspective, like it's still the West, but it's Ireland. I find it super interesting, especially if you know the history of Ireland and you know that there was it was still really intense with the IRA and the Northern Ireland and stuff. I didn't even know that stuff played that much of a part until I watched a show. So.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really didn't know. I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know when U2 and those guys are singing, I didn't realize that stuff was still.
Oh, yes, their songs of Sunday Bloody Sunday, the Cranberries, Zombie is definitely about what was going on at the time.
Exactly. And I think I found that out from this show, that those songs or that kind of, when you grow up in a city or grow up in a country and things are happening, it seeps into the art. Yeah. And then people consume it, and sometimes they lose the connection to what that art is about. I genuinely never knew that's what those songs were about until I watched a show that was telling me, hey, these are things that were happening in the 90s. And I was like, oh, damn. So.
Yeah. So this show's called Derry Girls, and it follows Erin and her friends at the end of the Troubles in Northern Ireland in the early 90s. So that whole segment is called The Troubles, and it was the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland fighting against each other, and basically the Protestants and the Catholics. So one group of people want to stay loyal to the crown and be a part of England. Yeah. Yes, England and the UK. No, I keep forgetting the there's the UK, which is the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And then you pair it back, and it's something else, and then you get to the individual countries. I keep screwing up which ones are which. I apologize. But anywho, it's a very funny show. It's the main cast are in a all girls Catholic school, except one boy, because one of the characters has a cousin that's from England. He came in from London, so he has a London accent, and everyone else has Irish accents, and they poop on him constantly. They should. So, but this is just a dynamic in those aisles of the United Kingdom of all
they
that
really
area.
Dig into that kid,
So,
man.
I was even talking to a friend of mine that's Welsh, and I was like, man, they really rag on that poor guy from London. He's like, yeah, and he deservedly so. Yeah. There's a good bit from The Simpsons where it's what's his name, Groundskeeper Willie is talking about how everyone hates each other in Europe. And but then to the end of his point, he's like, oh, the English hate the Scots, and the Irish hate the Scots, and the Scots hate the Scots. Stupid Scots making Scotland bad.
The
I'm like,
Scots
what?
hate the Scots. Oh my god.
So it's a really funny show. It's these girls are in high school. They're trying to have fun, even though there's like tense times going around them, and kids are still going to be kids, even though horrible things are going on around them. And it's still a uplifting show, and still funny. Because we're in North America, the accents can get a little bit tricky. So like if
Subtitles.
if you don't have the ear for it, put on the subtitles.
Yeah, you got to put on the subtitles. I don't think you can watch the show without the subtitles.
I think I was good. I was good at the beginning, and then we were watching it
definitely
later and later at night, and I was just not. My brain was like, nope, tap it out. And I was like, okay, I got to put the subtitles on. But she's there. She lives with her mom, her dad, her grandfather, who just rips into her dad constantly. Also in that house is her aunt, and her cousin is living with her. And so the crew of girls, it almost feels like it's like a crew of 4 plus 1 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you almost get that like Golden Girls, Seinfeld, Always Sunny, Teenage Mutant Ninja, but there's an extra character there. There's there's a guy, so there's like 4 girls and 1 guy, and everyone just busts that poor guy's balls all the time.
I'm gonna mention real quick.
Go for it.
First things first, this show had a huge breakout star from it. When Derry Girls started, I would say that Nicola Culloch, who plays the
Claire,
she makes she's the voice in she's the character from Bridgerton. She's the bigger girl in Bridgerton. Okay. Yeah, she's the one that like is what's the character's name in Bridgerton? The one that like has all the secrets. Miss something.
I don't know.
Anyways, she's gone on to do like a bunch of TV shows, a bunch of movies. I'm trying to find her list real quick because I do think it's interesting.
In the show, her character Claire is very funny. She's like sadly the little snitch. She's the one that breaks easy. she's willing to throw people under the bus to save herself immediately. Like the crew of people, they're very funny. But I would say Erin, the main girl, and her character Claire are probably the 2 that will just save their own skin a lot of the times, or sometimes they'll be a little like it takes a while for Claire to kind of finally stand up for herself and do something that's not that's not just kowtowing, I guess. But
because I was gonna say from Derry Girls, within a short period of time she did Derry Girls, and then she did a podcast. She did the show Harlots, which is a relatively popular show.
Okay.
She did Oliver Twist. She did Barbie.
Oh, who's she in Barbie?
She's one of the Barbies.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Very quick, but she gets one. She does Big Mood, which I've mentioned on this show. If I haven't, I'm crazy because I'm pretty sure I mentioned one of the saddest shows I've ever watched on television, Big Mood.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the movie Sees Them. She's in Bridgerton, and she's in Doctor Who. And this is all in like 6 years after she did Derry Girls. Like that's been her continued success. So I would say, in my opinion, she's one of the most popular out of the show when it came to recognizable. Louise Harlan, who plays the ditzy girl, Orla,
yeah.
Orla got her own show where she stars as called Nell, the Renegade Nell, where like they always refer to roadmen in the UK.
Oh yeah.
But like that originally comes from like people who used to rob you on the road.
Yeah.
Which was an old term. She plays one of the first like road, like Nell was like a female road
woman.
thief. Yeah, road woman. But there's also like a sense of mysticism in her story. There's like fairies and stuff. So
okay.
So they've gone on to do a lot of great things. I say that only because I wanted to give the flowers to the cast, because the cast was so talented that they've all pretty much gone on to do other shows and stuff.
Yeah, it was a really good show, and one thing I thought was really funny, you kind of get the kids' perspective, you get the adults' perspective,
Right.
and there's always going to be a tug of war between the kids and the adults, and the kids want to do one thing and the adults don't want them to do it, and you get to see the adults kind of plotting in a way, like kind of being like, oh, we don't want our kids to know we used to be like them back in the day, because then we'll have no
Right.
leverage, we'll have no leg to stand on, we're not going to be able to tell them like, you're not allowed to do this because I have the moral high ground.
Right.
And it's
That's
really
crazy.
good, and there's a few episodes where they do interact with other Protestants and just other stuff of that time that happened. There's a lot of throwback stuff, like where they want to go to a Take That concert, they want to go
Right.
see Fatboy Slim in concert and stuff like that. And they have like a lot of songs from the 90s playing, like either to bookend or to start off the show. So I was
Yeah.
really surprised when Snow showed up. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, you said.
They actually played a Canadian. Okay, that's super cool. And
Yeah.
then in the series finale, I guess, like the big special at the end, there is like a extra thing for us in particular that are Canadian and from Montreal.
Oh,
And it's
sweet.
very funny.
Okay.
So I'll leave it at that. And even my friend was like, "Oh, you got to that part. I thought you'd get a kick out of it."
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm looking forward to finishing it because I actually didn't finish it. So I like it. It's one of those shows that I liked so much, but when I got to like 10 other shows that I was watching, sadly, Derry Girls got left on the back burner.
Right.
And
Finish
I
it,
do
man.
regret. I know, yeah, because I was. They also had kind of a bit of a gap in between.
Yeah.
Like their last. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. That's
And
one of the things that changed with this new. Not everything having an annual release kind of
Right.
throws me off.
And then one last mention of the character Sister Michael is probably like one of the
I was gonna ask. Yes.
characters. Like she's a nun, but she's just like, this is
Yeah,
just a job. Meh. She
yeah.
she would be your Ron Swanson, right?
Oh yeah,
Kind of
yeah, yeah.
character,
The energy, yeah.
kind of energy. Your Stanley from The Office, like I'm just running out the clock kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I'm
when
just
some
collecting the
people,
paychecks until I go up to the big guy in the sky.
yeah, some people are like having a crisis of faith, and she's like, whatever.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
So she's really cool.
Yeah, I too would highly recommend it. Definitely worth checking out. There's a few shows that I had on the list that I wanted to talk about. I think if anything, I would probably talk about this first. Tron Ares.
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy. What a horrible movie.
I can't wait for a sequel. Is there a sequel coming soon?
So the thing that bothers me about this Tron Ares release, you got Tron, the original movie. You had Tron Legacy, which was the sequel. Came out in the 2010s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. There was like a whole bunch of plans. They were going to do something super cool. They ended that movie. Spoiler alerts for some reason if you haven't seen a movie that came out 15 years ago. But Sam, who is Kevin Flynn's son, aka Flynn Lives,
Sam, yep,
and Cora, who is one of the IOs,
yeah,
inside the Matrix,
the grid.
That is what it feels like inside the grid. Thank you.
Hey. The Matrix feels like the grid. The grid,
right? Yeah, I guess so. Yes, that's fair. That's fair. That's
on the
fair.
Grid.
So Io and the Io Cora and Sam Flynn, the human who was pulled into the grid, leave, and Kevin Flynn apparently dies.
Sam? Wait, Kevin? Who's Kevin Flynn? What the? Where are you going?
Who's this? Who's the son?
Hold on. Let's take a breather. Let's Tron Legacy.
Am I wrong? Is it?
Hold on here. So Kevin Flynn is Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, yes.
And Sam Flynn is the son.
Flynn. Okay.
That's what I said.
Excuse me. No. I was.
Kevin Flynn dies and is stuck in the grid.
Yes.
Or assumed to be stuck in the grid. Spoilers for Tron Ares. Spoilers. Do I have to put spoilers on the screen? Like, this one feels like I shouldn't have to. Well, this one feels like you should get it spoiled. It's not a good movie.
The impression I got was that they are really not continuing off of the story of Tron Legacy, or very loosely. It felt like a soft reboot. It really didn't feel like, hey, we had all these pieces lined up and we're gonna continue. We had these little.
So, I mean, you've probably seen the same thing I saw. They were going to continue the Tron Legacy film with the film Tron Ascension.
Yes.
Tron Ascension was going to follow Sam Flynn, who's the son, and Cora dealing with the real world, facing up against Dillinger, which is the other company, versus their EPCOM, right? Is that the name of it? NCOM or
NCOM?
NCOM.
And you know,
so the Flynn family owns NCOM.
You know who Dillinger was?
Cillian Murphy
is
what I saw.
Was the grandson. So he's in he's in Tron Legacy, and he's in the boardroom with them when they're talking.
Right.
And that was supposed to be the play.
And when you saw the movie, if you knew Cillian Murphy back then, it made sense to you that, oh, this relatively famous actor should not be in the movie for only 3 minutes if he's not planning to come back. Right. So it would have made sense that they were setting him up to come back in Ascension. And Ascension was going to be Sam and Cora dealing with the real world, Cora kind of trying to adapt but not feeling like she's meant to be there. But also because she's now a human, but also essentially a program that can that was able to self-heal. Maybe her DNA would help people with diseases and stuff. That was the father Kevin Flynn's whole idea. So then you get to Tron Ares. Tron Ares, now this movie starts, and I guess you're right. Like, it's not supposed to be a continuation of Legacy, even though it is a little bit of a continuation of Legacy, because the film starts with the idea of permanence. Permanence being that you are able to pull things you create inside the grid out into the real world. Using those same lasers, you can create something and then bring it to life. But only Cora had the permanence DNA code in her helix. So everything that comes out of the grid falls apart in 30 minutes.
Right.
Or sorry, 29 minutes for some reason. I don't understand why they made it 29, but so every time they pulled out
probably like computer number
true
bits.
Yeah, there's some kind of code to but every time they bring out Jared Leto, who's Ares, and or Athena, played by Jodie, every time they pull them out, they only have 29 minutes. Anytime they pull out, not even just organic material, for some reason, even if they pull out like constructs, like they were able to create tanks in there, and then they would pull out a tank, and the tank dissolved in 29 minutes. That part I didn't understand because it was inorganic material.
Right.
So I didn't get why it was falling apart.
Maybe they just don't want to make them too overpowered. But then again, I think in the original movie, the tanks were actual things as well.
From what I
remember right,
if I'm watching
people,
if I'm watching, okay, I see what you're saying. The people, how they could like transform into stuff.
Either that or the actual tank would be would have some kind of conscious, almost like in Japanese culture they have yokai. So like, oh, this ball I have has a soul in it, and it'll
okay,
it'll
maybe
with a spirit.
I guess, but again, you're telling me stuff that the movie should have explained, because the movie doesn't explain that.
Because I think it's kind of said about it in the first movie where they're flying around in a tank and the tank's kind of destroyed a bit, and Flynn is talking to the tank that they're trying to get around the grid in the first movie.
Yeah,
the first
so in the
movie.
Sure, the original movie.
That's what I'm assuming. I'm not.
No, and you're giving me information because I didn't rewatch the first movie. I only rewatched Legacy.
No one ever rewatches the first movie.
I know, but it's also so long ago. But when I'm watching this and I'm seeing it, and I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna start Tron Ares. I get in, I'm watching this movie, and they start off by showing you that they can't create life or anything organic directly from quote unquote the grid.
Right.
They're showing you that there's a competition that, Dillinger versus NCOM, they're both trying to get to this goal. They both need permanence. They need that code. You find out that, first of all, they don't explain where Sam is, even though he was running the company in the last movie.
Same thing happened with Kevin.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he was stuck in the grid.
Kevin was stuck in the grid. Sam's not stuck in the grid. Sam comes out and at the end of the movie says, I'm going to go run the company.
But he says peace out as well.
I guess so. But then you find out that like Greta Lee and her sister Like Greta Lee is the sister of this like super genius girl who took over Encom after and has been running the company and is like a genius. And I'm watching this movie going like, all right, cool. But who are you and where is Sam? Like, explain something, because I gotta say, it felt really annoying watching like Gillian Anderson, for example, is the head of Dillinger, or she was. Her
Right.
son, who is played by Evan Peters, he's now like the Dillinger takeover big honcho CEO. They don't explain anything about Gillian Anderson. She's just a mom who ran the company, and now people are putting her name through the mud. So she's kind of like watching her son to be like, hey, you're only as good as the last successful thing you did, and you are messing up. We need to be a little bit better. They're going to push you out if you don't do the right thing.
Right.
And he turns into a psycho,
Right.
and starts planning and plotting to just do whatever it takes to win.
Right.
Greta Lee, who is now running the company after her sister died.
I love how in this movie you could just leave a company to your kids or your family members.
Dude,
in this universe, that's what happens. In this universe.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They don't explain if Greta Lee's character, Eve Kim, why did you get the company? She was working at the company, don't get me wrong. But she wasn't like, her sister was running the company on the like, let's say, for example, like you've worked for gaming companies and stuff. You could have the person that worked on the main games for consoles, and you could have the people who worked for smartphone games.
Right.
Would you have the person who designed the smartphone games take over the whole company the next day? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not saying that the people who work on those games
depends on the game.
Right.
Is it the game that brought in all the money? Is it a game that's technically more complicated to do compared to the console game?
You know what, Jaws, you make a valid point. Supposedly, the game that she designed, which essentially just looks like an updated version of Tron, because it has like all the ships and everything from Tron, did well, and it was like the most successful thing at the company. So I guess, sure, she took over. But she took over. She was in her sister's shadow, and now in her sister's shadow, she decides, I got to figure out permanence so that we can save the world. Because if you can get permanence, this is the thing I didn't understand. You can create like in the program, you can create like fruits and like organic things to feed people. So you wouldn't even need to plant crops. You literally could create a tree, an organic tree in the program, use the lasers, and then it would survive if you got permanence for more than 29 minutes.
Right.
So you'd be able to just create crops from a program out of the thin blue. I know. Jaws, I'm telling you, the movie doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was expecting it to not make any sense.
Dude, Jared Leto's character spends the whole time, essentially, he's the antivirus for Dillinger, but Dillinger treats him so bad that Jared Leto's character, Ares, who is a program, starts to go, man, this thing ain't shit. I gotta leave. And and decides he's not gonna work for Dillinger anymore, and starts working with Greta Lee's character, Eve Kim, and tells her, hey, I saved your life. I got you out of the system because Dillinger is so crazy. He pulled Greta Lee into the grid, his grid.
He digitizes her.
He digitizes her because she has knowledge of the permanence code in her mind. Even if she doesn't remember, it's in her code. So he digitizes her so he can get the data from her. And to get the data from her, you have to kill her.
Yes, get the data disk from her back.
Right. So everyone is just like, so Ares is just like, okay, we got to murk this girl. Like gets the order. You got to murk this girl. Goes into the other room and everyone's just like, okay, so what's the order? Do we kill her? And they're just like, he's like, no, we have to wait. And everyone starts going, nah, that don't make sense. So they all just go back and talk to the boss themselves. And the boss is just like, why are you not killing her already? And Ares is just like, nah, let's escape. And he saves her life. But then it's just like, yo, you have to save my life now.
Yeah.
And that's the movie. And I'm like, why? Why did I watch this? Me, who's a fan, like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but over my shoulder here, this one, This orange thing right here,
Yeah.
that's a Tron light cycle on my
Ah.
display. I have the Tron light cycle Lego set that came out years ago because I liked it, because I liked Tron Legacy. I also liked the Elijah Wood Tron animated show. That was fantastic.
What was it called again?
I don't remember. I just know Elijah Wood Tron. That's what I always look up when I'm trying to watch episodes of it.
What was it called again? Uprising. That's it. Tron Uprising.
Tron Uprising. That cartoon is great.
That was supposed to get a second season, but because it was on Disney DX, it didn't get and they kept switching around the time slot for it and not telling anybody about it.
Dude,
Tron is a franchise that Disney created and just treats poorly because they keep buying and getting new toys. They keep getting Star Wars, and they're like, "Oh, I got Star Wars. Oh, now we got Marvel. Oh my god, we got Marvel. Oh, now we got Fox. We got Fox. Oh my god,
exactly so awesome." What you're saying is one of the reasons people said they stopped working on this stuff because they made Tron Legacy, then they did John Carter, whatever movie,
John Carter of Mars. Or John Carter. It was supposed to be of Mars, but then a bunch of movies came out with Mars in the title, and they did bad, and let's just call it John Carter.
Right. So the John Carter movie came out, didn't do well, and they're just like, "Yeah, we're not gonna try working on our own IP. We're just gonna
Tomorrowland did poorly."
Yes, that one too. So those didn't do well for them. So they were just like, "Our IP is not strong enough. So we're just gonna let the others. We're gonna buy this, like you said, all those other IPs and work on those." And to me, Tron is one of the ones that's like, "Hey, man, this is basic enough that it could be good."
Tron is super influential. Like the fact that you have the Matrix, the fact that you have Reboot, the fact that you have anything that takes place in a computer, and also its special effects was really forward thinking at the time. Very expensive. But they just can't. They can never stick the landing. It always becomes a muddled mess. I think people I was gonna say people are having a very nostalgic love for Tron Legacy. When I remember when I saw it when it came out, I didn't like it. I was like, this is not great. And then, and then the cartoon show I thought was way better. And obviously the soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh man, what a missed opportunity with the visuals and everything like that, and how they kind of expanded everything. Yeah. And it's just like, I kind of don't care.
Don't get me wrong. If I had to pick between continuing the cartoon or continuing the movie franchise, I would continue the cartoon.
Yeah.
The animation was very good. Even the animation style to me reminds me, I guess came first, but it reminds me of, that Netflix series Robots, Life, Death, and Robots, or Life, Robots, and Death, something like that.
Yeah.
They have one of the shorts is called Blue, which is about like a robot, like a kind of pool cleaning robot that evolved and became like an android. And it decides that its last project is going to dissolve itself in the pool and go back to its original program.
Oh, okay.
And that art style reminds me of the Tron art style from Uprising. Really clean, kind of like very triangular body shape.
Robots love death.
Robots love death. Thank you. Yeah. And I thought
Love Uprising Death. Sorry, Love Death plus robots. Excuse me.
Love Death plus robots. All right.
Yeah, my bad.
But all this to say, Uprising was great. 19 episodes. People should have seen it. 2012 came out after the movie. 2010. The movement was there. They messed up. It was a prequel to Legacy. Yeah. So if you guys want to watch, you watch Tron, then you watch this show, Uprising, then you watch Legacy, then you watch Ares. Or don't. Just watch the cartoon and never watch anything else. The cartoon's the best. That's all I have to say. That's pretty much.
I think the people have spoken about Tron Legacy too. It made 33 million.
Ares, you mean? Yeah,
Ares. Yeah, Ares only made 33 million. It did poorer than
under.
It did poorer than Morbius.
Yes. And a lot of people are trying to say stop hiring Jared Leto. And I'm like, I don't have an opinion on Jared Leto. I don't think he's a great guy. I've heard some really unfortunate things about him. Hollywood though tends to just ignore a lot of warning signs. So I don't know, but
See Ezra Miller for more details.
yeah, see half of them. I don't think you could open a trade nowadays and not see someone getting called out for being horrible.
But no, I mean that one was really
yeah. Like, just Jared Leto. Some of these, it's like, dude, 9 accusations. It's really bad, and I don't understand why you would even make this movie with him. But supposedly,
remember, to make a movie, it takes roughly 3 years, 4 years.
Also, he was one of the producers. He wanted this movie to be made. Supposedly, he loved the movie when he was younger.
Right.
So,
and he got 9 Inch Nails doing the soundtrack. Go listen to the soundtrack. Industrial. I feel like it's in that same vein. 9 Inch Nails also. Trent Reznor also did the Social Network, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I think he did Gone Girl as well. That industrial sound.
Okay.
I feel like it fits that lane, that vibe.
That's fair. I would give it to you. God, man, Tron Ares has such bad acting. Anyways, that's I wanted to talk a little bit about Peacemaker season 2 finale. I mean, most people have already said this. I am 100% on the same bandwagon of this wasn't it. It was a very poor landing of the plane. I think James Gunn spread himself too thin. I know that a lot of people complain because they're hoping for big cameos in the last episode because of the fact that Gunn has announced Superman 2 is coming out and we're going to have all this stuff, and people got really excited about what was potentially going to happen.
Right.
So they saw this last episode as an opportunity for Gunn to kind of plant his flag for the fans and be like, this is what's next. Get excited. And then the episode is horribly done. It's I know it sounds pretty rough to say that, but I shouldn't be watching a show that is just multiple flashbacks connected.
Like that's supposed to be the third to last episode,
dude.
That's supposed to be the third to last episode. What are you doing?
And also for us to find out that this was the series finale because the show is done. Right. They're not making Peacemaker season 3. This is the last piece. Those characters will be seen in the future, but as of the show and the story of the 11th Street Gang and this whole thing that's done, this was horrible. This was poorly done. You had multiple flashback, all this stuff. You spent an entire season setting up a story in which Peacemaker went to Earth X, which is a universe in which the Nazis won World War II. And you have this show, you're watching this show, and that's the whole season is that. And then the last episode of the season has no connection to that, doesn't reference it anymore. It's just about this kind of flashback, why decisions were made. This is who's doing what. We're skipping over stuff. Rick Flag Sr. is like throwing people to the lion's den. People are dying to fulfill some idea. All the people that were working for Lex Luthor are somehow out of prison working for Rick Flag Jr., for Rick Flag Sr. Like, you're watching this and you're just like, what is going... Rick Flag and them are doing cocaine. Like, you're just like, what?
What did I get into?
Yeah, this isn't a fun show. This isn't a fun ending to the show. It doesn't even feel like you tried to make a good ending to the show. I don't know what you're doing. So that's my 2 cents on Peacemaker. I don't want them to make another season. I'm happy that it's done. I didn't like the season to begin with. And Gunn, if you're going to be the Feige of the DC universe, I get it. But if you're going to be the writer director for a bunch of projects, you are spreading yourself too thin. And we saw that in this show. When you watch this show, you can see this was written and directed by somebody who doesn't have the time to do it because they have too much other stuff going on. So it's going to be a tough time for DCU to move up from this, because in my head, Superman leaves you so high. And then for this to come along and to feel like such a drop in quality, it's just like, oh, damn. And now we have Clayface and Supergirl coming out next year in 2026. this is where you have to make your mark because you've left the situation in a bad place.
Right.
You parked the car on a hill and you didn't put on the parking brake. That's how it feels. I'm telling you. You got the car up the hill and then it's rolling back down. It's not doing well, man. So that's how I feel. It's
too bad to hear.
Yeah, man. It was rough to watch. That entire season, I had friends telling me like, "Oh, it's not that bad." And I was just like, "I don't know, man. This is not good." And then you get to the end and it was that and I was just like, "Okay, I'm not crazy. It wasn't good." It like no any people I know who liked the season watched that episode and said that was a horrible season finale. And then when you find out it's the series finale, you're just like, what the hell? What do we do with that? You finished this is how you're finishing the show? Yeah, you introduced Checkmate. Okay. I hope Checkmate comes to play in the DCU at some point. Or is it one of those things you're just going to introduce and leave on the side? We don't know. We'll find out soon. Very bad. Very bad. Very, very bad. Poorly done. Sorry. Just saying. We're rolling downhill. No parking brake. We're rolling into traffic and we're going to cause an accident. That's what it feels like I watched. I don't even know what to say. Oh, what was the other thing that I wanted to check out? I watched it recently. There's a bunch of pilots on YouTube that like animated pilots that you can watch. And I saw two of them. I guess I watched them in my personal account and I didn't watch them on this account. Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
I do want to give them a shout out because first of all, I'll take a moment to say this. Years ago when we were doing the podcast, Jaws referenced watching something on YouTube and called it a show. And at the time, I would argue with him like, that doesn't count as a TV show if it's on YouTube. And I said even soon after that, I stand firmly corrected that you were right, I was wrong, because television and stuff has evolved and it's very different. And
well, didn't Cobra Kai, wasn't it birthed in YouTube and then became?
YouTube launched a TV service, but I'm talking about like you were talking about like series like review shows and stuff like that people were doing on YouTube. And I was saying, well, that doesn't count as television. And now as someone who watches stuff on YouTube, I'm wrong, and I know that, and I said that years ago. Mea culpa. But here I am now, being able to say. There are two shows that I watched recently on YouTube that are pilots for series that people can check out. I'll try and add the links to those in the description of this episode. But King of Meat, which is a 2.6 million views as of right now.
Wow.
And it's this kind of weird show about a guy who there's like a stadium and they have like this kind of crazy competition. It almost feels kind of like a D&D world. There's like a dungeon that people have to get through. There's Dragonborn, there's orcs and stuff like that. And then you have this human who is just a huge fan of the competition and he loves the competition and somehow accidentally ends up inside the pit in an episode. And the episode is about him loving the show so much and now being a part of it and potentially helping out with the competition. And like working for the team that manages the hammers, like the hammers that like crush and kill people. King of Meat, weird title. Some reason got fed to me through the algorithm. Very much enjoyed it. And then the other show that I watched on YouTube that I highly recommend, an animated pilot as well. This one's called Spice Frontier: Escape from Veltegar. This one is at that's quite a jump. The last time I watched it, it was at like. When I watch it, there's at 500,000 views. It's now at 710,000 views.
Nice.
So I would tell people, look up Spice Frontier. That's the name of the pilot. It's about this ship of like, it's kind of like a Firefly type thing. It's like a ship full of like people, crazy characters working together. They end up on this planet. And I don't know if the series is going to be kind of a procedural, like, Planet of the Week, like Star Trek. But from the first episode, that is what it looks like. Like they land on this planet, they have to do something. Also, one of the things that's kind of cool, the main character in the show is a chef who wants to bring back Earth cuisine because Earth cuisine doesn't exist anymore. So
Oh,
he's
okay.
looking for planets that have ingredients
Mhm.
similar to Earth or like Earth so that he can open up a restaurant that has Earth's cuisine.
Right. Okay.
Random shows. But
Don't forget, I think some time ago I also mentioned the animatic pilot of Pretty Please, I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl.
right.
Basically
Yeah.
a Sailor Moon magical girl spoofs like comedy, but a little like animated, really funny, extremely funny.
Yeah.
But it's not a fully animated thing. It's like a bit of animation here and the animatics, but you can get most of it. You get a good chunk of it as you watch it and everything.
And with that, that's the end of the show, folks. Those are all the things we recommend people check out. I want to thank everybody for tuning into another edition. Jaws, what do you want to tell the people?
Tell everybody to check out Transformers Slag and the Toy Model Podcast with Aaron Archer on YouTube.
And I want to mention I'm going to be at Desta this weekend. I'm going to be doing another event for podcasting. If you guys are looking to up your game on podcast production, I'm going to be hosting Finding Your Voice 2 podcast recording and equipment for Black creators. That's going to be Saturday at Desta. That's at sorry, I had the address. It's on Saint Antoine Street here in Montreal, 1950 Rue Saint Antoine West in Montreal, Quebec. It's right next to George Vanier Metro Station. If you guys are listening to this and you want to come down, you can go to Desta's website or go to my Instagram at Brian Holiday. There's a link to get your tickets. Well, it's free, so it's just kind of to sign up, but you can also just show up. And that's it. Guys, that's the whole show. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back with another one soon. Peace, y'all.
Take care.